Beatz Media presents the Scoop and Score Football Show.
Hello everybody and welcome back here to the Scoop and Score Football Show, brought to you by Ball N Beatz Media. Episode 14. And a very, very action-packed episode. A very busy week. We've talked about a lot of stuff already on our live content that we do every Monday night, Spencer, but what a weekend. What a weekend of football it was.
Yeah, it was a hell of a rivalry weekend for college football, and we had some really good NFL games as too. Not much on Sunday. Even that Sunday night game with that no one expected to be good was actually a really good game.
Yes.
But yeah, it was a fun weekend.
It's a fun weekend, and of course, the day we're recording as well in college football space, it's the start of early signing day going on right now, so we've seen some drama already coming in with that. You had a lot of coaches move, and some are still moving as we speak. We've already talked a little bit about that on our IG live talks we do on Monday night, but before we get into the rest of this episode, you guys who are watching right now, you should subscribe to the channel. You should hit that push notification bell to stay up to date on all new videos that we have. You should go follow our Instagram page, and you should go follow our TikTok as well. Every Monday night at 11 p.m. we'll be going live on our TikTok. So just do some weekly reaction, some recap over there. You should join in on our conversation over there. I want to start this conversation this week. We start a lot with college football, I feel like. This week we're going to start with our NFL. How about we have to start with the Thanksgiving Day Packers-Lions game. Just recap it just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Yeah, it was a garbage game. The Lions didn't play well. Offensive line wasn't good again. Micah Parsons had 2.5 sacks the whole game. He was in the backfield the whole day for the Packers. The Lions defense didn't play that great. They had a couple stops here and there, but there was a time where they were just trading touchdowns each team in the second half. And Jared Goff had an okay game, but then again, he was pressured again. And Amon-Ra St. Brown got hurt. Luckily, he's not supposed to be out long term. It should be just a week-to-week thing. I don't think he's going to be playing this week against Dallas, but next week against the Rams, it's looking like it could be a good possibility. The team just didn't play well. The offensive line was bad. The running game wasn't great. Jared Goff was facing pressure the entire night, or day, I should say, because the game was at 1. But they just didn't play well. And the Lions are now 7-5, and now they have a must-win game against Dallas on Thursday. And if they win it, they're still on track to make the playoffs. If they lose, they're out. I mean, it's as simple as that. So it's a win. You better win this game, or the season's over. So they got a lot of things to pick up in the offseason. They need to get an edge rusher for Aiden Hutchinson. They need to get some interior offensive linemen. It's an issue that's not going to be fixed during the season and something that has to be fixed in the offseason. But for right now, they're still 7-5. They're still in the hunt. So we'll see what happens on Thursday. It should be a fun game.
Yeah, what are you now, 2 full games back in the division? Or is it 3? Does Chicago have a tiebreaker?
Well, we have the tiebreaker over Chicago because we beat them in week 2.
Right, that's right.
So technically, yes, we have it's a 2-game lead, and if the Lions want a shot of making the playoffs or having a good shot of being, like a 6 seed or something like that, not even just a 7 seed, they need the Bears to kind of start losing,
right?
Especially to Green Bay, because the Lions play the Bears week 18, and if that game can be for a playoff spot, well, you go all in on it. So we'll see.
We'll see. And speaking of Chicago, a massive, massive win this past weekend against the Philadelphia Eagles, 24-15.
Yep.
Off the backs of Kyle Monangai and DeAndre Swift. They carried the load for that team. I think both of them pretty much almost hit the total yards that they had in the game in the first half. They were running all over Philadelphia's defense. You had 22 carries for Monangai for 130 yards. You had Swift with 18 carries, 125. It was an unreal day for the Bears offensively in the run game.
Yeah, their offensive line was fantastic. They were creating holes for Monangai and for Swift. They had a lot of good matchups, and they kind of bullied the Eagles' defensive line, which has been very good this season. And the Bears' defense did enough. They got some pieces back, and Jalen Johnson and Brisker. But they just played. The Bears they're for real, and it sucks to say that, but the Bears are a team that is legitimate, and Ben Johnson's doing a hell of a job there in year one. So we'll see a lot with this Packers game. If the Bears go out there and beat Green Bay and Lambeau, they are the best team in the NFC. Um, that's yet to be seen because it's hard to win at Lambeau. But I do think that you have to give them a ton of credit for going on the road and beating Philadelphia, because the Eagles are still a top echelon team in the NFC. And while they're not playing great right now, they are still a playoff team, and they most likely will still win that division.
Yeah.
I don't think Dallas is going to have some insane run to end it, but we'll see. We've seen crazier things. But yeah, the offensive line was creating holes for Monangai and Swift. It was great schemes. They were scheming the running backs open. And Caleb Williams, while he didn't have a good game, he won the game. So who really cares? You win the game, and it doesn't matter what your stats are. So.
Yeah, you beat the defending Super Bowl champs. I do want to talk a little bit about Philadelphia, though, because I feel like ever since A.J. Brown's kind of gotten back, really, and they're forcing the ball a little bit to A.J. Brown to get him more involved, I feel like the offense has kind of regressed since offensively for him. But their defense, they're not getting to the quarterback. They are not getting any pressure to the quarterback at all. They're in the 20s in their total defense ranking right now. Of course, their secondary is still very good. Quinyon Mitchell's been doing his thing. Cooper DeJean is still very solid, but they're not getting any pressure. I think they miss a guy like Josh Sweat this season. They have not been able to get to the quarterback.
Yeah, I think that the interior has been very good with Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter, but the edge has been an issue all year. They had to basically they had to beg Brandon Graham to come out of retirement, and they got Jalen Phillips, which was a good get, and at the trade deadline. But yeah, they haven't been right. The defense has been good. They've shown up when they need to show up. They just, when the offense is playing as bad as it is right now, they're out there all the time. And Jalen Hurts, he's playing okay football, but they just look out of sync. Like, their running game isn't there. They're not getting anything with Saquon. Their passing game isn't there. They're not checking down at the tight end at all, and the offensive line hasn't been as good as we've expected it to be in previous years. So I think that this Eagles team, while they are a playoff team, they don't seem right to me. They remind me of the Eagles team from a couple years ago that started out really hot and fizzled out and lost in the wild card round. So we'll see. I really think Philly right now needs some sort of reality check, because they don't look right offensively, especially. But their edge rush, they get no pass rush currently, and it's weird to see because you're so used to it with the Eagles being as good as they normally are. But yeah, Philadelphia has some question marks, and while they are 8-4, and while they do play the Commanders twice, still, so they'll win both of those games, and they still have some. I still fully believe the Eagles will win that division, and they'll probably be the 3 seed. But we'll see, man. Crazier things have happened.
Crazier things have happened. When it comes to Philadelphia, it'll be intriguing to see in 2026 how their offense will be, only because we know the tush push just won't exist. And who knows? Maybe Jalen Hurts will be a backup quarterback at that point for him, because he won't be able to do his best thing he can do. But speaking about very good NFC teams, in my preseason Super Bowl prediction team, what happened there in Charlotte? What a game for the Panthers, and Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers have a legit chance in the NFC South.
The most confusing team in all of football.
They really are. I have no idea.
The Carolina Panthers have beaten the Packers in Lambeau. They've beaten the Rams, and they've beaten the Cowboys, but they've lost to the Saints.
I'm pretty certain have they lost to the Falcons too?
No, they've beaten the Falcons.
That's right.
They beat them 30-0.
Oh yeah.
And then they beat them in Atlanta because that Bryce Young plays outstanding when he plays against the Falcons. Carolina makes no sense, dude. But I mean, the problem is they play the Saints this week, so I. Are they going to finally stay consistent? Are they going to go back to their ways? It seems like the Panthers are on a win-loss type record right now, and who knows? I mean, they theoretically, I mean, they still can make the playoffs. Do I think it happens? No, but Bryce Young is playing better. Dave Canales should be a serious name for Coach of the Year. He won't win it because it's either going to be Vrabel or it's going to be Ben Johnson. But they're playing phenomenal right now, and it's really cool to see Carolina take a step that they've needed. I mean, this team was kind of dead for a few years, and now Bryce Young starting to look a little better. Hasn't been amazing, but he's looking better when he needs to be. And that was a big win for the Panthers over the Rams because their defense played decent. And Carolina, I mean, Bryce Young made some really big throws. There was a fourth down throw, like a long throw downfield to Teteroa McMillan, and it was for a touchdown in the fourth quarter, and it was a massive momentum swing. And they're playing complimentary football. But my biggest question mark is just consistency. Can they consistently win? They have a knack for losing to bad teams and beating good teams. So I don't know what to make of them.
Right.
But yeah, it should be something to watch out for. Because anything can happen. I still think the Niners fall off a little bit at some point, but who knows, man?
You know, does this weekend change anything, in your opinion, for the MVP race? Or do you still think Stafford's the lead?
No, it's hard to say. But Stafford only has 4 interceptions now, and he has, I think, 33 touchdown passes. So it's not like he just had a bad game. I still would pick Matthew Stafford to win the MVP right now, but I mean, Drake May is right there. Drake May is right behind him, and I think Jonathan Taylor's kind of fallen off a little bit. It's I know their record isn't great. They're 6-6, but Patrick Mahomes is having a fantastic year this as well. I don't think he's going to win MVP because the Chiefs are there's something wrong with them. But yeah, I think right now I would still give it to Stafford, but I think it's going to come down to Stafford or Drake May.
I agree. I think Drake May is inched a little bit closer to Matthew Stafford after this weekend. I still am going to be on record, and I believe the Rams are the best team in the NFL this season. So I don't see that changing, but I think if they have another slip up here in the next couple weeks, I don't know. We'll have to see with Drake May and them. I do want to give quick thoughts just because I know my outfit doesn't show it right now for people who might not have seen us before, but I'm a Browns fan. And so I had to wear an outfit of choice that is specifically a team who knows how to win. Not in the clutch, obviously, but they can win. Shedeur Sanders against San Francisco. It wasn't pretty. Well, I'll say everything else wasn't pretty. I thought Shedeur Sanders actually was pretty decent. I think he went 15 of 26 passing in the game. You still see the characteristics that he had at Colorado where he likes to drift in the pocket or outside the pocket and the pressure comes to him instead of the pressure not even happening if he just stayed in the pocket, which is my biggest thing with Shedeur Sanders is he kind of creates his own pressure. You saw that a lot. They sacked him 3 times in the game on Sunday. I didn't watch the game an awful lot, so I know San Francisco was able to stop the run a little bit. Myles Garrett's inching closer to that sack record, though. He's inching closer to that sack record, but
he got another one. So
there's not really much more to gauge when it comes to the Cleveland Browns this season. It's just more so about us getting ready for mock draft time and free agency moves. We're at that point with the Cleveland Browns where just have to see the development of Shedeur Sanders. But there was news earlier today, as the time of this recording, Deshaun Watson is back at practice.
Oh boy.
He is limited in practice today. So who knows?
He's gonna be giving Shedeur tips.
Okay, what kind of tips?
Hey man.
Football tips? I'm hoping we're talking football tips. Yes, I think you're
We'll
right.
see. Depending on how Shador plays on Sunday, we'll see.
I think Shador Sanders has been fine. He's easily been the best quarterback for the
Yeah.
Browns all season.
Been all
So,
Yeah.
it's all right though. Cleveland fans, the paper bag's over the head. I know. I get it. I'm here with you. That's why I'm rocking another team today. I can't. The effort there, it's disappeared. Until we put a winning product on the field for the Cleveland Browns, they are not getting another dime off of me. Okay? Not one. And until then, you will.
Might be a while.
It'll be a long time. It'll be a long time. So I'll buy everybody else's gear. You know what? I'll even be a Ravens fan. I'm kidding. I cannot believe I said that.
Yeah.
Screw you, Art Modell. Let's get our weekly picks done here for the NFL real quick. First game, I might as well get it out the way. Titans at Browns. The battle of 1-11 and 3-9. If the Titans didn't have Cam Ward, it's awful. Cam Ward is a very good quarterback. He has not seen Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett might break the sack record in this game. Yeah, give me the Browns. They're 4.5-point favorites. The Browns will win this game because of their defense alone.
Yeah, I'll take the Browns. Pretty much what you said. The Titans are a mess, and while the Browns are kind of too, I think their defense is still very good. So, yeah, give me the Browns.
Next game we have on the slate, another AFC North clash. These two teams hate each other. The black and blue division. Steelers at the Ravens. Ravens are 6-point favorites.
Yeah, I'll go with Baltimore. I think that the Ravens don't. They had a weird loss on Thanksgiving night to the Bengals, and Lamar, and that doesn't look right. But I think that the Steelers just look dead. And while they will probably, if they lose this week, they'll probably win next week. I think Baltimore at home is going to take this one.
I agree with you. I think the Ravens are going to end up winning the AFC North anyway. I feel like the Steelers, they kind of just, I feel like they've declined the last couple weeks, and I think the Ravens, yeah, they lost to the Bengals. It was a weird game, like you said, on Thanksgiving night, but before that point, you felt like there was a bit of an ascension with that team. I think that's going to continue eventually here this week. I like the Ravens to win. I like them to cover as well. And now we get to the NFC North. Bears, Packers in Lambeau Field. Packers 6.5-point favorites currently at this time. The oldest rivalry in the NFL. It's a beautiful rivalry. But there's one who owns it.
Yeah. The game's at Lambeau, so I'll go with the Packers.
I agree with you, sir. I'm also picking the Packers to win that. And I'm pretty certain, yeah, if Packers win, they go back to first in the NFC North because it'd be 9-3-1. Bears would go down to 9-4. So whoever wins this game, I mean, it really, really affects the standings. And with that tie earlier in the year with the Packers, if they do end up winning this game, can really throw a whole wrench in the NFC North for the whole season. So next game, we go to Arrowhead. Houston Texans at the Chiefs. Kansas City is 3.5-point favorites at home. And it has not been a pretty season.
No, it hasn't. And for some reason, I just think every time I think of the Chiefs going the back against the wall and a must win, I'll always pick Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs to find a way. I know the Texans are playing very well right now, but I'm going to pick the Chiefs.
I feel like I've picked Kansas City like once or twice all season. I feel like every single week I have gone opposite of the Kansas City Chiefs. And to be honest with you, the way they're playing right now, I don't have a reason to switch up on it. I'm going with Houston on the road to go into Arrowhead and win. This Houston defense, dude, is unreal.
Legit.
If Myles Garrett didn't exist with Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson Jr. down there, those two alone are combined like the sack record right now. They are filthy. And so with an offensive line that's been as beat up as Kansas City, not really beat up, just not that good. Josh Simmons, he's had good moments, but then he's also had like the rookie moments where it's just not been pretty. And then the rest of the offensive line has just not been good either. This is the worst offensive line Mahomes has played behind in his entire career at Kansas City. And I think Houston is salivating at the mouth to get after Mahomes, and I think they will. We got this next game. This is the Monday night game. Philadelphia going to SoFi to take on the Chargers. Eagles are 3-point favorites.
I'll go with the Eagles in a bounce back spot here. The Eagles have dropped back-to-back games against Dallas and the Bears, and I think that they'll figure something out and win it at LA. And their fans will take over SoFi. So,
I do agree with the fans taking over SoFi. I am picking the Chargers, though. And I'm picking the Chargers because of the fact that the Eagles have not been able to get after the quarterback. Granted, this might be the game to do it with the offensive line, with the Chargers' offensive line being banged up. But the Eagles haven't been great at stopping the run either. And the Chargers are on running back 4. What's it, Kamari Vidal? I forget his first name off the top of my head. He's been...
That sounds about right.
He's at about 600 yards on the season already. When he's barely played except the last few weeks. I like the Chargers in this spot. Zero confidence in this game because I really don't know between either of these teams what you're going to get. And then the final game, by the time of this recording, we'll already know the result. It's the Thursday night game, and it's a heartfelt game here at Ball N Beatz Media because it's the Cowboys and the Lions. For people who don't know, my dad is a diehard Dallas Cowboys fan.
Yep.
And we have Spencer Contavious Caldwell Pope Gallup over here, diehard Lions fan. And this house is going to explode Thursday night into oblivion.
Yep.
Just get Dan Skipper. Just call Dan Skipper.
Yeah. We'll have a play for Dan Skipper probably.
Oh, it's going to be first play of the game.
We're in a jet sweep with Dan Skipper.
You should. You should.
I'll pick the Lions for the sake of my mental health. And for the sake of my sanity to see the team still have a shot to make the playoffs.
If this game was in Dallas, I'm not picking you.
Dallas.
Because you're at home and I feel like you're in that get-right spot, you have to win to make the playoffs. I trust Dan Campbell a little more than Brian Schottenheimer in that moment, and I trust Detroit in their offense a little bit more than Dallas's defense. Give me the Lions here. In that one, deep breath. Got to collect myself. Got to get a beautiful sip of this, B&B Zero Sugar Cola.
There you go.
That's refreshing the palate. And it's a good time for everyone. Just subscribe. It doesn't hurt you. It doesn't hurt me. In fact, it helps me and Spencer out quite a bit. So you should do that. Yep. It's like I said already, it's free. There's nothing that hurts you in doing it. And what you do is you get to watch the best content and the best football content you possibly can. So just hit the subscribe button. The B&B poll. We've not posted it yet at this time, but it will come out at some point later today or early on Thursday. The rankings this week, I feel like are way too similar to the CFP rankings for my liking. But that's okay. It happens. When you have a beautiful poll, the computers, they start telling the same story. And we're at the end of the regular season now. We're on conference championship weekend. And who's giving me a notification? Shout out Adam Schefter. Sorry, he's distracting me. But we're here with these beautiful rankings. The second to last B&B poll rankings. We will have one more B&B poll rankings for the season next weekend. But the penultimate rankings, starting at number 20, the Michigan Wolverines still hanging around in the B&B poll. They almost dropped out. Because the Tulane Green Wave were calling. But they didn't.
Yeah.
Tulane's 21. if we went to 21, but we don't go to 21. Number 19, we have the USC Trojans finishing the year 9-3, and also have officially locked up the number 1 recruiting class in the 2026 class. So USC getting a little bit of momentum going into next season. Number 18, the Virginia Cavaliers, playing in the conference title that really doesn't matter, but matters an awful lot for a Power 4 conference we'll talk about. It's so weird and so bad. Number 17, the James Madison Dukes, playing for the Sun Belt title. A team who deserves a little more recognition, one of the best defenses in the country, a very, very good running game, and they should be ranked higher than where they are. And this team at number 16 with the best offense, passing offense in the country, the highest scoring offense in the country in the North Texas Mean Green, they are ranked all the way at 16. Number 15, the Utah Utes, still hanging around, not making the Big 12 title, not making the playoff, but they're still hanging around there as well. Number 14, we agree here with the playoff committee. The Vanderbilt Commodores are at 14.
Yep.
Even with 2 losses, they lost to Texas in head-to-head, and then Texas with a big, monstrous win
Over A&M.
over A&M this past weekend, they jump up to 13. They won't make the playoff at 13. They will not. It's pretty much locked in on Miami or anyone else in front of them. They're Texas, Vandy, they have no shot. Am I right there? Feel like that's not going to happen.
Yeah, no, because Vanderbilt has too many teams in front of them.
Number 12, we have Miami. And, it's been a whole topic of conversation of the Notre Dame-Miami head-to-head earlier in the year. Both have the same record. Miami has worse losses, but Notre Dame lost to them head-to-head. I feel like there's going to be pressure to the point to when we actually get to next Sunday. I'm starting to lean that Miami's going to get the nod. I feel like the pressure is going to get to them. And I think Miami will be in. And the thing is, just because our rankings here, obviously we haven't said Notre Dame yet, I would agree with the fact that Miami should get in over Notre Dame. I don't know about you.
You don't agree with the fact that they should?
I agree with the fact that Miami should.
Oh, me too, yeah. I mean, they won the head-to-head battle.
Yeah.
That should mean a lot.
And what I'm saying is just because
Miami has another loss, they have the same amount of losses at them. And Miami, they've been playing well recently, and I do think head-to-head should matter. And Notre Dame plays 2 real teams all year, and they lost to both teams. Their best win was probably USC, but I mean, then they played Pitt and they won that game, but Miami won that as well. And I just think Miami's playing better right now. And Miami hasn't had like these blowout losses or anything like that either, but they're not putting anything into head-to-head with these 2 teams.
They're doing it with other teams. They're doing it with Texas and Vanderbilt, where Texas has more losses, and they lost to a 4-8 Florida team.
And that's the reason why they won't make it in, because they lost to a 4-8 Florida team.
That's literally, the committee chair said that himself. To be fair, he embarrassed himself last night during the rankings. I don't know if you watched any of that, but they just, every single week, it gets worse and worse and worse for the chair of the committee. This is maybe the worst committee we've ever seen, the way they talk on TV. You don't sell nothing. They couldn't sell me a 2026 Lamborghini Urus if they tried for free. They couldn't do it. And the playoff committee is a scam, in my opinion, because it's one thing for one team, it's one thing for the other. Granted, I know there's a lot of different things you look at to try and create these rankings, but you have to look at every single thing for the same, for everybody. Like one reason, I don't know if you saw, because Alabama jumped Notre Dame, in which they used the reason of them getting a 4th down conversion against Auburn as the reason that was convincing enough. What are you talking about? Auburn was 5-6. I know it's a rivalry game. I understand that. And I know the Iron Bowl is one of the best rivalries in college football, period, and it's a whole different ballgame when it's at Auburn. How is that a reason to make them jump over Notre Dame? Not that I disagree. Not that I disagree that they shouldn't have been over them maybe in the first place. Possibly. But how was that a reason?
I mean, Auburn was driving down the field, possibly going to win that game. I mean, they were going to go for 2, 100% if they got down there. And they fumbled the ball at, I think, like the 30 or the 25-yard line. It was bad. And it was a rough loss for Auburn. But, I think Alabama covered the spread, crazy enough. I think this spread was 5.5 or something, or like 6.5.
Yeah.
I can't remember. But it was something like that. And I don't agree with it. But then again, they're going to adhere to Alabama. So.
And I think with them moving all the way up like they have, I think they're locked into the playoff, whatever happens. The fact that they have leapfrogged Notre Dame, I think they're pretty much locked in. Even if they lose, they might just flip-flop them. If
they lose decently to Georgia, like if they lose by 10 plus, I don't think they should be in. If it's a close game, I guess. But a 9-3 Alabama team in the playoffs over a 10-2 Miami team. I mean, Miami beat Florida State. Alabama lost to Florida State pretty handily, like common opponent things, and I don't know. It's a joke.
I think they'll incentivize the fact that Alabama's playing a game that a lot of other teams aren't, and we saw that in the past with SMU. The fact that they lost to Clemson in the ACC title last year, even when they were ranked 11th at the time, they did not move because they got the incentive of the fact they're playing in a conference title game. And if you also look at the standings in the SEC, Alabama's the 1 seed in the SEC. Sorry, I'm getting off track here, the B&B poll, but still, it's just the CFP rankings are a joke, in my opinion, just the way they run. And Alabama, just the reasoning, like the reasons they say, it just drives me insane. I'll get back on track here. 12, Miami. Number 11 is BYU, which we agree, all 11 through 15 right there, same rankings. BYU is a team who I feel like could be ranked a little bit higher. They are 11-1. They're the lowest one-loss team at the end of the regular season in the rankings in like 50 years. So every time before a one-loss power conference team was always in the top 10. So and BYU lost to a team who's currently number 4. I would make the argument for BYU if they lose again in the Big 12 title. They would have maybe a better resume than some of these other teams that will make it in. Just because they lost to one team twice, and it was a team who ends up being a first-round bye team. So who knows? Number 10, we do have Notre Dame at number 10 this week, dropping, and Alabama flipping to number 9, which Alabama, I feel like, is the better team than Notre Dame. It's just, I don't know. I feel like we're at that spot right now where you got the end of the regular season and it's just a bunch of chaos. This year's a bunch of chaos with these.
It's a bunch of teams that could make it, and there's going to be some that probably should have made it that aren't going to. It's going to be, because of the whole conference championship or conference champion thing with the 12 and the 11th seed, you're going to get teams that are less superior making it in because of the rules. So
there's at least 3 teams, that are going to miss it and complain. Texas and Vanderbilt locks to miss. You'll see a BYU if they win. Well, BYU wins, it's different.
One of Miami, Alabama, or Notre Dame will miss, and they will complain about it.
Yes. Number 8, we have Oklahoma. Decent win against LSU. Wasn't great. It was a very tight game in the fourth quarter. But that's just how Oklahoma wins this year.
They themselves into the 8-9 matchup, pretty sure.
Yes.
Whether it's the 8 or the 9 seed.
For sure. And then number 7, we have the Aggies of A&M losing to Texas, which they seem to always do every time they've played. However, they've ended the season.
In over 5,000 days.
They've ended the season like this every year where, like last year, it wasn't pretty. They went 7-5. They lost a lot of their remaining games at the end of the year. And then this year they had the debacle against South Carolina, down 30-3, and then they came back and won. And then this week against Texas, A&M is giving me first round exit.
Even at home, huh?
Even at home, they are giving me first round exit. Number 6, we do have
Right.
Ole Miss. We do have Ole Miss at number 6, even though the Lane Kiffin situation has transpired. Pete Golding's the new head coach there, and all of the offensive staff is pretty much going to LSU as well. It seems like some of them are returning to coach in the bowl game, or coach in the playoffs, which to me doesn't make any sense. I don't know why Ole Miss would allow that to happen, but they're doing it. Ole Miss, I think, will firmly be in the playoff. I feel like if they really wanted to drop Ole Miss out, they already would have done it last night in the rankings. Ole Miss is giving me the vibe that I feel like they could go on a serious run in the playoff, or they will just implode on themselves. I feel like this whole thing around Lane Kiffin could really drive this team and give them a little bit more momentum going into it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm glad their offensive coordinator is going to be there because that's a big boost for him. But we'll see how it transcribes because with all the drama that's been going around with Ole Miss, how it affects their play, and it didn't affect them in the Egg Bowl. So maybe it just. But then again, they had Lane Kiffin for the Egg Bowl, and now Lane Kiffin's at LSU, and they're going to have a home playoff game at Vaughn Hemingway. So we'll see.
Number 5, the Oregon Ducks, ending the year 11-1, a good win over Washington Huskies, 26-14. Dante Moore playing really good football. The fact that they've been doing what they've been doing with a bunch of third and fourth string weapons outside of Kenyon Sadiq in their running game, all their wide receivers have been banged up. They've looked very good, and they could make a solid run here in the postseason. Number 4, they just keep crawling up. They just keep crawling up there. Texas Tech.
Yep.
Wreck them. That's all I have to say.
They look good, and they got a big game coming up. You got to beat BYU.
I think they're in if they lose, too. I think they're at that point. They're ranked too high.
They'll get a bye if they win. They'll get a bye if they win. But no, if they lose, they'll probably drop to like 7 or 8, something like that.
Number 3, the Georgia Bulldogs. Nothing's changing in the top 3 until proven otherwise here this weekend. Indiana, number 2. Ohio State, number 1. And it is Conference Championship weekend, the final weekend of college football. Before we get into the games that really, really matter. And before we do that, I'm going to take a sip of some more
B&B water.
B&B
Or, sorry,
Zero Sugar
B&B
Cola.
Diet Cola.
B&B Zero Sugar Cola.
Zero sugar cola. My bad.
This is actually a non-sponsored one, by the way. So
Non-sponsored.
it is a non-sponsored B&B Zero Sugar Cola. However, if they want to, you know where to find me. Conference Championship slate starts Friday night. We're picking all the games. It's not just the beautiful games. We're picking the nitty-gritty ones. And we're going to start with the Conference USA Championship game. Kennesaw State, Jacksonville State. Jacksonville State at home won the Conference USA last year. Kennesaw State's on the road at 2.5-point favorites. The Owls of Kennesaw, Georgia.
Yeah. One of the first rebuilds I did in NCAA, I think with a lot of people, they did that. They have such a small stadium. It's crazy. Made the jump to the FBS last season. I'll go with Kennesaw State. Let's go Owls. Second year in the FBS just to win it. Hell yeah.
The difference for me in this game is Jacksonville State's running game. They have the third best running game in the entire country. Kennesaw State's defense is not great at stopping the run. I don't know if you know Jacksonville State's quarterback, former Big Ten quarterback Gavin Wimsatt. Been balling down there for the Gamecocks. I'm going with the Gamecocks to repeat as Conference USA champions, winning outright. Go Cox. Who doesn't love Cox? moving on here, another Friday night 7 p.m. game, Sun Belt Championship. The Troy Trojans going to Harrisonburg, Virginia, taking on the 25th ranked James Madison Dukes. James Madison is 23.5 point favorites in this game, and they have one of the best defenses in the country.
Game. I feel like Troy is one of those teams, like every year or every other year, they're always in the conference.
They are. No one talks about them when it comes to Sun Belt action, and they're always there.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen what John Summerall did there before he went to Tulane, now the Florida coach. Built a consistent program down there, and they're still doing it.
Yeah, I'll go with JMU.
You have to go with JMU, right? Like, yeah. This is one of the best defenses in the entire country. I think they're top 5, statistically speaking. They're going to stop Troy. James Madison's going to win this game. I don't think it'll be pretty. I think James Madison's trying to come with a statement win with everything else and try and get into the playoff. The next game here, the American Conference Championship, 8 p.m. as well. North Texas, 24th ranked Mean Green, going to New Orleans to take on the 20th ranked Tulane Green Wave. Both coaches are going to be at Oklahoma State and Florida respectively next season. North Texas is 2.5 point favorites on the road. The number 1 passing offense in the country and the number 1 scoring offense in the country in North Texas. And Tulane's been able to run the ball a lot, but it's been relying a lot on their quarterback to run with it.
Yeah, this is a coin flip for me. But I've been on the North Texas train for a while, and I love Mestamaker and I love Eric Morris. Give me North Texas to win the conference and to make the playoffs. Yeah, they'll make it if they win. Whoever wins this game makes the playoffs.
Whoever wins this game makes the playoff and could arguably be the 11th seed, not the 12th. We'll have to see how everything else falls.
What happens. Yeah.
Give me North Texas as well. We both have been high on the Mean Green, and we'll be very high on Oklahoma State next season. Who knows? Oklahoma State might be a preseason top 10 team in the B&B poll next year. We'll have to see. But we're cheering for the Mean Green this weekend. It's not that I hate Tulane. This is a very biased show right now. I just want you to know. North Texas is going to win. Anyway, in the last game on Friday night, the Mountain West Conference Championship came down to 55 different computers to come up with this matchup because we had a 4-way tie for first place between UNLV, San Diego State, New Mexico, and Boise State. And we have UNLV and Boise State as the teams coming out of it. UNLV playing at Albertson Stadium.
Did the Lobos dirty.
They did the Lobos dirty. I agree. I don't know if anyone else has watched Mountain West football. The Lobos might have been the best team in the Mountain West all season long. This was the best season they've had. First year they've ever went undefeated at home all season.
Nuts.
But we are left with the Runnin' Rebels and the Broncos playing at Albertson Stadium in Boise. Boise's 3.5 point favorites.
Boise wins it every year, so I'll go with Boise again. Every year it's Boise.
That's fair. But because of the fact that I, in my preseason playoff prediction, had the Runnin' Rebels in the playoff as my 12 seed, I have to stick with my gut and go with the Fighting Dan Mullins. Give me UNLV all the way. Anthony Colandrea out there slinging the rock. Moving on to our Saturday slate here, as we have the Mid-American Conference, our beloved conference, playing in the noon slot. We have an awful tiebreaker situation, right, where a team makes the conference title game because the other two teams that they're tied with, who they lost to, by the way, their 2 losses in conference play are to the 2 teams they're tied with. However, they make the conference title because of the fact that those 2 teams didn't play, and they also beat the team they're going to play on Saturday, and those other 2 teams did not. So you have Miami of Ohio playing Western Michigan in Ford Field in Detroit. Western Michigan is 2.5 point favorite. Spencer, who you got?
I'll go with Western Michigan. I think they'll get revenge for losing to Miami earlier in the year.
I agree with you. I think the Navy Light team in Western Michigan is going to get it done. They're practically the same. It's just different jerseys. They just run the ball. Their quarterback's the leading rusher. They have Jalen Buckley still back there, who's a very good runner of the ball as well. I like Western Michigan a lot in this game. And Miami of Ohio, they're relying on a backup quarterback throughout the rest of this season, as DeQuan Finn left the team earlier in the year, at the end of October, to quote-unquote focus on the NFL draft. I know he's gotten an invite to like the All-American Bowl or one of those kind of bowl games to play in for prospects, I did see. But I like Western Michigan in this slot. And then the second noon game, we have the Big 12 title. We have the 11th ranked Fighting Mormons, really the Fighting Kalani Sitakis, if you will, with him staying put up there in Provo, Utah, taking on my beloved number 4 Texas Tech Red Raiders. Texas Tech's 12.5-point favorites. It's a fairly decent spread. This team did beat them already by 22, though.
Yeah, I'll go with Texas Tech here. I think it'll be closer than the last game, but I do think Texas Tech just has more talent and just looks better currently right now. And the defensive line's playing great. So yeah, give me Texas Tech.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Texas Tech does win. I do think BYU covers the spread. I think BYU is going to try and give them their all in this game. However, I think the talent that Texas Tech has is just going to be too much. And they're going to be a first-round bye team here in the playoff. This defense is filthy. This defense is legit. David Bailey is an absolute dog. Jacob Rodriguez is a dog. Romello Height off the other edge is a dog. And the biggest trophy of all time for them is really for me, because I'm going to have my jersey put up in the rafters. Preseason prediction, Texas Tech in playoff. It's the greatest accomplishment of my life. It is. It really is. It's one of them. It's got to be top 3. Top 3 greatest accomplishment of my entire life is predicting that a team who spent all their oil money in NIL would do some serious baggage. And shout out Joey McGuire getting a new 7-year contract extension yesterday with the Red Raiders as well. That boy's there to stay, to build a national title contender with Texas Tech. Yeah, I said it. All right. Moving on here to the 4 p.m. games. It's just the one. I lied. Just one game. SEC Championship. The number 3 ranked Georgia Bulldogs taking on number 9 Alabama. Georgia 2.5-point favorites, even though they did lose to Alabama, which they always do. But will that happen again? Or is Georgia out for blood?
Georgia's out for blood. Give me the Dogs.
It'll be intriguing. It'll be intriguing because Kirby Smart has the Bama problem like Ryan Day had the Michigan problem.
Yep.
He did win once, and it wasn't a national title. I agree with you. The way Bama's been playing the last month of football, it hasn't been great. Earlier in the year, after that Florida State loss, they went on a nice run where they beat a bunch of ranked teams, played really good football, looked like one of the best teams in the country. And then I feel like the last month, 5 weeks or so of football, they've kind of slowly regressed, playing a lot more tighter games, and they just haven't looked the same. And to me, Georgia, ever since that loss, has just skyrocketed. And they look like, to me, the second best team in the country. I agree with you. I'm going with Georgia to win and avenge that loss earlier in the year. I think this Georgia team's just a little bit different than years past with Kirby Smart. I expect them to get the job done. And then we move on to the conference with all the drama in the college football playoff. They could stir the pot big time. You have the 17th ranked Virginia Cavaliers taking on the Dookie Pukies, the 7-5 Dookie Pukies in Charlotte, 8 p.m. kickoff. Virginia's 3.5-point favorites. This game is massive for the CFP.
Yeah. Give me the Cavaliers. I'll say we get the good ending for the ACC and they get a playoff team in there. So give me the Virginia.
You know, I want chaos. I want to see chaos ensue. Duke lost to Virginia 34-17 earlier in the year. It's one of their 2 conference losses. And also the fact that they're 7-5. They lost 3 out of conference games. One of them to Tulane. One of them to Illinois. I'm trying to remember the other one off the top of my head. I cannot remember it. But it's bad. Like, it's bad. The fact that a 7-5 Duke team is at the conference title is just a bad reflection of your conference. That's not even with divisions. That's not even with divisions. This isn't Big Ten East and Big Ten West days. That I don't understand how that could even happen. It's just crazy. But it happened. The doomsday situation is here, and I'm here for the real doomsday. I'm pressing that button. Give me Darian Mensah and the Duke Blue Devils to beat Virginia. All chaos will ensue. Will they give Miami a pity spot in the playoff because the ACC would be left out? Does Notre Dame drop out? If Alabama loses, do they drop out? Here we go. Chaos. Shout out Duke. I'm here for it. Next Sunday will be intriguing. This Sunday. Last game, Big Ten title game, 8 p.m. kickoff as well. The top 2 teams in the country, number 2 Indiana, number 1 Ohio State in Indianapolis. Ohio State 4.5-point favorites coming into this game, avenging a 4-year streak for Michigan, making it back to the Big Ten title for the first time since 2019, and Indiana's up for their first ever Big Ten title since like 1964 or whatever year it was, 66, 67, something like that.
Been a while.
It's been a long time. It's been a long time for the Hoosiers.
Give me the Buckeyes. I think this will be a close game. I think this will be a good game. But I think Ohio State will pull it out in the end. OH.
Yeah, one thing I think people need to realize about Indiana is that their defense is also one of the best in the country. They're not Ohio State caliber, but they are very, very close. They are top 10, top 12 defense in the entire country. Indiana is very similar offensively, where they have running back by committee situation. Although I think Ohio State's really found who the real running back one is, and Indiana also has that same situation with Roman Hemby. They have 2 other backs they can hand the ball off to. Their offensive weapons are very, very good. Omar Cooper Jr., Elijah Surratt, E.J. Williams Jr., former Clemson Tiger, and that wide receiver room. They've got a lot of pieces. But this Ohio State team just feels different. Just feels different.
I agree.
They are poised. They are cool. They are calm. They're collected. And this defense is generational. And yes, as of today, the time of this recording, Brian Hartline's officially going to South Florida to be their head coach as well. So it'll be intriguing to see next year what will happen with this Ohio State offense. I'm still pretty confident in it with Ryan Day as head coach. But give me Ohio State to win this. Give me Ohio State to barely cover. And Ohio State will be the number 1 seed going into the college football playoff. And Indiana, I think, will still be a top 4 seed, regardless of what happens.
Yes, 100%. Yep.
And since we're at it, I kind of want to talk a little bit more about Alabama specifically. Because I feel like we already kind of mentioned it a little bit, but I just want to talk about it just a little bit deeper because they bumped Alabama ahead of Notre Dame from 10-9. They firmly locked them in there. And they're playing for the SEC title game. And we've seen that incentive for teams in the past. We saw it with SMU. They're in the ACC title last year. They lose to Clemson. It wasn't a pretty game, but they made it close and almost had a chance. And they still kept them in. They still kept them in over a 3-loss Alabama at the time. Which a 3-loss Alabama that did not play for the SEC title. If Georgia beats them and Alabama loses, that is the same thing, by the way. Georgia beats them and Alabama loses. I don't know if people knew that or not, but that's the same thing. And and Alabama ends with 3 losses here at 10-3, not 9-3. I don't see how they can be docked out the playoff because they're playing for a conference title.
I guess it just depends on how badly they lose. I think if they lose by double digits, I think you could see a case to where they should. But if it's a close game and they only lose by like 3 or even a touchdown, no, I don't think you can knock them out. I think they'll move down a spot maybe or something like that, but it's going to be tough to get Alabama out of the playoffs now, seeing as the committee has them. They jumped them over Notre Dame, and they're playing in a conference championship game. But if they get blown out, don't be surprised if you see maybe a Miami jump in there.
So I'm going to throw this out here, right? I'm going to throw out this hypothetical scenario for you to end this. Alabama loses, but in a close game. Duke beats Virginia. in the ACC title. Who makes that spot? Who makes those final two, quote-unquote, at-large spots, that 9 and 10?
Alabama will get in, and then 2 group of 5 teams. So James Madison and whoever wins the Tulane North Texas game.
Well, they would get in, but who would get that 10th spot?
Notre Dame.
You think of Notre Dame, not Miami?
I don't think they're going to. I think that the committee's kind of already stated their case.
Well, to be fair, the committee did say that teams who aren't playing this week have a chance to still move up. So the committee chair did say that.
I think Miami should jump Notre Dame, but I think the committee's going to look towards how Notre Dame's playing and that they're playing really well, but so is Miami. It's just, I don't know. It's going to come down to Notre Dame and Miami, those 2 teams, whoever gets the last spot, if that happens. Because I think BYU is going to lose, and that would jump them out. Miami would move up to 11, and then you would have Notre Dame and Miami back-to-back. So,
yeah.
How much does head-to-head really matter? We'll find out.
We will find out for sure, and it's going to be a great weekend of college football, conference championship slate. Real quickly as well before we wrap up, all these college coaching moves has happened. We talked a little bit about it back on our live content we do on Monday nights. What the hell is going on at Penn State? Like, what is happening
At this point, they should just hire Terry Smith and see for this upcoming year. Just hire him and see what happens in this recruiting cycle and see what happens next year. And then do something different next year if it turns out that you don't like Terry Smith, because they're kind of SOL right now. They're kind of shit out of luck. All the main coaches that people have advocated for are gone. The only one that I could maybe see is Jeff Brom from Louisville, but going from James Franklin to Jeff Brom is a D grade. Like that's a D grade. I don't know, man. It's tough. I think it's Pat Kraft is the AD.
Pat Kraft, yeah.
Yeah, is the AD at Penn State. He's gonna have a lot of questions to answer. That's for sure.
You know, they're the ones who really got their foot out in the coaching sphere first before anybody else. Virginia Tech did too, but Penn State was earlier than any of these other programs, then Florida, then LSU. They fired James Franklin early, and it felt like you would think that they would have gotten their answer a lot earlier than some of these other programs. And the fact that they're just still sitting around and waiting, it's malpractice by this athletic department. It's got to be one of the worst ways of trying to find a coach I've ever seen. Like, they're doing very, very bad. And now you have, we talked about it a little bit, Brian Hartline. He's going to South Florida. That just was announced earlier today. Felt like he could have been a guy maybe even for Penn State, but South Florida, it's a good stepping stone job for Brian Hartline. You know, we knew it was going to happen at some point in his career where he would leave Ohio State. One of the best recruiters ever. At the wide receiver position, might be one of the best. It might be the best ever at recruiting wide receivers, but just one of the best recruiters, period. Going down to Tampa and trying to create a very good program in the American, you could have had him. Could have had maybe some other people. Maybe these guys are also just turning down the Penn State job, period, because they saw that they fired James Franklin, a guy who perennially won 10, 11 games this season, just couldn't win the big one. And it's like, they're willing to fire you even if you are that good. You know?
It's going to be interesting. They got a lot of questions to answer. So
they do. Well, that's going to wrap up this episode here of the Scoop and Score Football Show. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Hit that push notification bell. Stay up to date here on all new videos. Go follow us at Ball N Beatz Media on TikTok and Instagram. We go live on TikTok every Monday night at 11 p.m. Make sure you join us on those conversations. And you should also enjoy this weekend with your family. Watch the best ball. The best of all ball is here to come this weekend. All right, we'll see you guys next week, reacting to the CFP rankings officially. The bracket will be set next week. more NFL action to continue as well. We'll see you guys. Take care.